This video is to help you review for Unit 8 test. I want to point out to you that the test will be two parts. One part will be coming through the computer where you might have free response or multiple choice and that type of thing. The second part will be pencil and paper where you'll need to solve and or show the work, show steps, and both parts will add together then to give you the 100% possible for the test. Also keep in mind, just like in any test review situation, you may very well see questions that would also be included from your quiz review. We just won't hit those again, but you could always go back and re-look at that video if that would be helpful to you prior to the test. So the first type of question that will be on the test that was not specifically covered in the quiz review is this. A room is at 88 degrees when the air conditioner is turned on. The air conditioner lowers the temperature by 0.4 of a degree each minute. How long in minutes before the room reaches 76 degrees? And we want a numerical answer. So this would be something where we're just putting down the number. You do not have to include the label. And again, that's because it would be on the computer portion. So what you want to start with is an understanding of the problem. The temperature of the room is 88. We want to get it down to 76. And we know that it is going down by 0.4 of a degree each minute. So there's more than one way you could do this, but one way you could set it up and solve it is like this. You could say, all right, first I'm going to find the temperature difference between where it's at currently, 88 degrees, and what we're trying to get it to, which is 76 degrees. So subtracting those, we see that it's a difference of 12 degrees. So what we want to know is, all right, if the temperature is going down by 0.4 of a degree per minute, how many minutes will it take it to go down 12 degrees? So we're setting up a cross product situation. Degrees is across from degrees, minutes across from minutes. And then you can just go ahead and, do your cross products, which of course, again, is multiplying diagonally across the two that you know, and then dividing by the third value. So 1 times 12 is, of course, 12, divided by that 0.4 would give you the 30, so that's where the 30 minutes came from. All right, and again, if we were just asking for the label, we'd be looking for the 30, not for minutes. For the next type, what is the perimeter of the rectangle that's shown? So we have a rectangle that has one length being 4x plus 6, the width being 3. We know perimeter is found by adding up all four sides. So 4x plus 6 added up twice, and 3 added in twice as well. So we have 4x plus 6, plus 3, plus 4x plus 6, plus 3. So that would give us, if we combine our like terms, 8x, that's coming from the 4x plus 4x. And then combining the unit terms, 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 9 gives us 18. So that would be considered our perimeter in simplified form because we can't combine any other terms. There is no other terms that are alike. Now, if they are looking at the same rectangle, but this time they want area, this time you're going to take length times width. So 4x plus 6 times 3. So 3 times 4x plus 6, or 4x plus 6 times 3, you would find that by using your distributive property. So 3 times 4x, and then 3 times 6. 3 times 4x is 12x, plus 3 times 6 is 18. So your final answer would be 12x plus 18. You can't combine anything because, again, these are not like terms. Then another thing that will be on the test is to find the value of x. Again, they don't want you to measure these angles. They want you to use what you learned in this unit about different special types of angles. One special type being vertical angles. So what we know is these two angles are vertical to each other. And so that means that they are congruent. So therefore, we know that 3x plus 4 is equal in measure to 4x minus 10. So 3x plus 4 equals 4x minus 10. These marks that I made here just show congruency. So what we would do is just go ahead and solve this like you would an algebra equation. You want to get the variable to one side, and you want to get the number portion to the other side. So I'd probably start by subtracting 3x from both sides. The 3x here and the 3x here would simplify. So 4 comes down, equals comes down, 4x minus 3x is 1x or x, and the minus 10 comes down. Then I would add 10 to both sides. Again, ultimate goal being to get x by itself on one side, number by itself on the other, which we get x equal to 14. If we've done it right, you should be able to, put 14 in place of x here and in place of x here and see that indeed one angle equals the other. One side equals the other. You'll also have to, for the test, find the mean, median, mode, and range. So I didn't give you specifically examples here, but remember mean is adding up the values and then dividing by how many are in the list. Median is putting the numbers in order and picking out the middle value. If there's 2 in the middle, you need to average those. The mode is the value that occurs the most. Excuse me. There can be no mode. That is a possibility. There can be a single mode, or there can be more than one mode. If, let's say, one number and another both occur 3 times, and that's more than any other, then both those numbers could be the mode or would be the mode. And then range, just remember, is finding the difference between the largest and smallest values. So these should already be in your workbook, these definitions and how to do them. But if not, you're welcome to put those in there. You'll have to, again, solve some additional algebra equations. These being a little bit different, however. So this one is a little different because instead of being y minus 8, it's 8 minus y. So you still go about it the same way, however. We would subtract 8. And then what we want to be real careful of is bringing down the fact that that's not just a y coming down, but a minus y or negative y coming down. So then that comes down, the equal comes down, 20 minus 8, of course, is 12. Now we have negative y equaling 12. So there's like a -1 coefficient in front of that y. In other words, y is being multiplied by a negative. So in order to clear that out or make it just y instead of negative y, we divide both sides by -1. And when we do that, then we get y equal to -12. Again, you should be able to test that to prove that that's true, because 8 minus -12 does indeed equal 20. This one, again, a little bit different. 6.3 divided by z equals 2.1. You could rewrite it this way. Might make it a little more sensible for you. 6.3 divided by z. Remember, fraction bar does mean division. So 6.3 divided by z equals 2.1. Now you might ask, well, where did that 1 comes from? Well, I did that just to make that a little bit easier for you. So I could have left it as 6.3 divided by z. And I usually put this line through z to make sure it looks like a z and not a 2, equals 2.1. Okay, but then the question is, what do I do next? Well, the easiest way to set it up then, and that's why I did this over here, is remember that any number can be put over a denominator of 1. So I put that 2.1 over a denominator of 1. What's the advantage of that? You'd say, well, now you're set up for cross products. So you could take 6.3 times 1, divide by 2.1. That's our cross product situation. And we get our unknown, or z, which is 3. Okay. What's the value of x in this equation? Again, we're using the idea of special angles to help us with this. Well, we know that this angle plus this angle together make 180. So therefore, we can set that up as an equation. 4x plus 10 plus x minus 5 would equal 180. So we're setting up and solving an algebra equation by using the idea of, the special angle measurements. So that's where a lot of times in math you go, well, is this a geometry concept or an algebra concept? Well, this is combining both, all right? And then you would solve that algebraically. And again, hopefully we've gotten pretty good at solving those algebraically, but you're welcome to ask questions if you have any. But that would be the process. The big key to this, the part that most people find challenging, is this initial setup. Where does this line come from? And again, it comes from the fact that this angle plus this angle have to equal 180. So therefore, 4x plus 10, which is this angle, x minus 5, which is this angle measurement. Adding those up has to equal 180. So we solve for x, and then we can find that value. What is the value of x in this diagram below? Again, same concept. We know that those two angles together equal 90. It makes a 90-degree angle there. So x plus 25 plus 3 equals 90. Again, don't let it concern you whether it looks like the right angle measurement or the right numbers. We're working with, not the appearance, but what we're actually given in terms of mathematical data. So it doesn't matter if you go, that angle doesn't look like 3 degrees. It's not really about that. It's about knowing the fact that these two together have to make 90. And then recognizing that we can solve that algebraically and find the value of x. Now, this one down here tends to confuse people a little bit more, understandably. So just to be clear, we did work with special types of angles in this unit. And one thing that we discovered is that, vertical angles are congruent. So if this is 35, this is 35, okay? But what we didn't talk about that's also true is when you have parallel lines like this angle and this angle are also 35. Now, why is that helpful? Well, because if this angle is 35, all right, and we know this angle is 4x plus 15, well, then we can solve that pretty easily because these two together make a straight angle, right? They make a straight line. So the fact that we call these alternate interior angles are both 35 matters because now we know that 4x plus 15 plus that 35 would equal 180. And again, that's coming from, I can erase this stuff, but that's coming from the information right here. The fact that this combined right here has to equal 180. Okay, so since these two together equal 180, 4x plus 15 plus 35 would equal 180, and then we can solve again algebraically. Right. So when you solve, you can go through your steps and get your answer. Don't let it throw you off that we might get a decimal answer. Also keep in mind that you can put examples of each of these in your notebook, all right, or in your workbook for the upcoming quiz and test. So you know that those types of questions will be asked. You'll also have to be able to make a box plot of a set of data, and that's part of the reason why you're going to have a separate page for a portion of your test, because a box plot is certainly something that'd be difficult to create on a computer. So when you do the box plot, you're going to need to put that on that separate page or in your notebook. So the first thing you do, remember, to create a box plot is you put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So I did that. Then you're going to go ahead and find the median. Remember, the median is the middle value when those numbers are in order. So we're going to go ahead and find the median. And when we do that, we find that the median is between 20 and 24. So the median would be 22. That's halfway between them. Okay. Then what we're going to do, and I'll go ahead and show you what I've started here, is I created the number line, and you can go by whatever increments you want here as long as you're consistent. I went by tens. But what I did first is I said, okay, if my median is 22, I'm going to put a vertical line located at approximately 22, and I'm going to write in the number 22. So these other numbers came later, okay? But I put my vertical line and I show my 22. Again, if you've been following along with what we've been doing with box plots, this should not be a big surprise for you because we've been doing quite a few of them. All right. After we found the median, the 22, since that was between these lower and upper sets of numbers, we're now going to put a line between them and find our quartile 1 and our quartile 3. And again, none of this vocabulary hopefully should be new to you. So quartile 1 is what is halfway through, or the halfway number, the halfway point of the lower set of numbers. In other words, the median of the lower set of numbers. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, working our way to the middle. And our quartile 1, the end of the quarter, end of first quarter, if you want to think of it that way, is 19. So that's why I then wrote this line here, my vertical line, and put in the number 19. Okay, that's where that came from. So again, these other lines would not have been here yet. Then my next step was to find quartile 3, the median of the upper half of the data. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what I find is that my quartile 3, the median of the upper half of the data, the end of the third quarter, however you want to think of it, is 34. So I'd put that line in. Again, find the approximation, but don't forget to write the number itself. So on the test and so forth, make sure you have these numbers written above, because if you just have approximations here and I can't see what these numbers are, you're not going to get full points. All right, then I connect it to create my box. So I connect my median line, my quartile 1 line, my quartile 3 line, and create my box. Again, make sure those numbers are written in. All right, I want to be able to see that you found the correct values for those. Then I take and make my whisker, which is my extension to the lowest value and the highest value. You can put a little dot at the end there if you wish, you don't have to. And I write in, what is my lowest value? 8. What is my highest value? 45. So this is creating a box plot. All right. Again, make sure that you can do those. You will have to do those for the test, and make sure that you also can find all of 5 of these values correctly. So that is, again, a summary of what kinds of concepts you should see on the test, in addition to the ones we talked about with the quiz review. Thank you.